the explainer. All right, today we are tackling a huge question, one that almost everyone has to face at some point. Are you going to stick to the traditional path, education, then a job, or are you going to carve out your own path in the world of freelancing? Let's get into it.
So this is really the heart of the matter, isn't it? Is your education just a ticket you punch to get a job, or is it a toolkit that you can use to build something completely on your own? For generations, that answer seemed pretty obvious. But now things are getting blurry, and your answer to this question could honestly shape your entire professional life.
So let's start with what we all know, right? The path that most of us were raised on, education. Think of it as the traditional map to a career.
You know, the whole point of education has changed so much over the years. It wasn't always about getting a job. Way back, it was really a privilege, something for the elite, a way to keep culture and knowledge within a certain circle. Now it's the engine of our economy. It's what drives innovation. But the future, that's where it gets really interesting. It's becoming a foundation for just constantly learning, forever. And that's not some fluffy concept. That mindset is what you're going to need to succeed, no matter which path you take.
But that old map, it's not the only one out there anymore. There's this whole other territory opening up for millions of people. I'm talking about the new frontier of freelancing.
So what even is freelancing when you boil it down? Well, it's simple, really. It's deciding to be your own manager. You are the boss. You provide your skills directly to people who need them, totally outside of a normal job. It's all about taking the reins yourself.
But here's the thing about freelancing. It's kind of like a beautiful rose that has some pretty serious thorns. On one hand, the freedom is incredible. You're your own boss, you make your own schedule, and hey, there's no salary cap. But those thorns, they're real. You've got to deal with the fear of not knowing where your next paycheck is coming from. No company health plan, no 401k. It's all on you.
And this brings us right to the center of this whole debate. It really is a clash of two totally different ways of thinking about your career. And honestly, both sides have some really good points.
So on one side, you've got the people who champion traditional education, and their argument is pretty compelling. They say you can't build a skyscraper on a weak foundation, right? They believe a formal degree gives you that unshakable foundation, the structure, the critical thinking you need to actually navigate the world.
But then, the other side comes back with a powerful counterpunch. They argue that traditional schooling is just too slow, that the curriculum is often outdated, totally disconnected from the real, hands-on skills that you need right now. They're essentially asking, is that degree preparing you for the job market of today or the one from 10 years ago?
Okay, so let's say you're listening to this and that freelance frontier sounds exciting. What do you actually need to pull it off? Let's talk about building your freelance success kit.
Being a successful freelancer is about way more than just being good at something. Mastering a skill, that's just step one. After that, you have to become your own head of marketing, your own chief financial officer, and, probably most important of all, you have to commit to being a student for life. And look at that last step. It brings us right back to what we said about the future of education. See? These two worlds, they're not so separate after all.
And if you're gonna walk this path, you have got to know about the traps. We've all heard the horror stories, the insane up and down of your income, the loneliness that can creep in when you're working by yourself all day, and the burnout. Oh, the burnout is real when you're the one responsible for everything and there's no one to tell you to clock out. And building up a list of clients? Yeah, that's a marathon, not a sprint.
So where are we headed with all this? When you look at all the big trends in tech and the economy, one thing becomes crystal clear. The future of your career isn't something you're just handed anymore. It's something you have to build yourself.
And that future, no doubt about it, is specialized. But the real question isn't just what skill you learn, it's how you learn it. Being a deep expert is what creates real value. And you can get there through a formal degree that gives you that solid foundation, or you can get there through the school of hard knocks, freelancing on places like Upwork or Fiverr. But you know what? The most successful people are finding a way to do both.
Which leaves us with this final thought to chew on. Maybe it's not really education versus freelancing anymore. In an economy that changes on a dime, where entire industries can get turned upside down overnight, maybe the safest bet you can make is to bet on yourself.
to take the structure from education and use it to build your own freelance toolkit, to use the best of both worlds. The choice? Well, that's
All
up to
right,
you.
let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about a choice that pretty much everyone faces at some point. Do you follow the well-paved road for your career, the one with all the signs? Or do you grab a machete and carve out your own path through the jungle? We're going to look at this fork in the road through the eyes of two very different people.
And this really is the heart of it, isn't it? That classic tug of war. On one side, you've got the comfort of job security, a predictable paycheck. And on the other, you have the siren song of total freedom. It's a huge decision. Do you want the steady and known or the thrill of a potentially limitless future?
So let's break down these two paths. Path 1 is what we're calling the steady route. You know this one. It's the traditional playbook. Get your degree, land a stable job, climb the ladder. Then there's Path 2, the independent venture. This is the riskier road for sure. It's paved with a lot of self-teaching, late nights, and the hustle of the freelance world.
First up, let's walk the steady route with Layla. She's 30, and she's a huge believer in doing things by the book. For her, success means having a map, following it precisely, and building a career that's predictable and, most importantly, secure.
And when you look at Lila's journey, it's just so linear. It makes perfect sense. She did great in high school, went straight to a top university for civil engineering, which is a super solid choice for job security. And guess what? It totally paid off. She was hired by a major firm right out of college and has worked her way up to project manager. It's a textbook success story, really.
And for Lila, this is what it all comes down to. She says her education gave her a rock-solid foundation, and her job, it gives her financial and, just as importantly, psychological stability. She loves the certainty of that steady salary, the health insurance, the retirement plan. But as you can imagine, that kind of security can sometimes come with a hidden cost.
And here are the trade-offs, laid out bare. On the one hand, the pros are fantastic. Stable salary, great benefits, a clear ladder to climb. But then you look at the other side of the table. Lila herself admits she feels a growing sense of routine, even boredom. Her creativity feels capped, and while she might dream about trying something new, that fear of losing her security is a powerful anchor. It's the ultimate paradox, right? Stability can start to feel a little bit like a trap.
Okay, now let's flip the coin completely and meet Ahmed. He's 27, and he is all about the independent venture. He pretty much looked at the map Lila followed and decided to toss it in the trash. He wanted to forge his own way in the crazy, fast-moving digital world. His journey could not be more different from Lila's. He started a business program at a university, but felt like it was already years behind. So he left. He taught himself everything. First, graphic design through online courses, then he pivoted into digital marketing. And today, he runs his own small ad agency, all from his apartment. His path is defined by pure agility and self-motivation. And you can just feel the energy when Ahmed talks about it. He literally says, "Freelancing changed my life." It's not just a job to him, it's an adventure. He loves that he gets to pick his projects and is constantly learning new things. But he's also honest about the struggle. He'll tell you that in the beginning, he was pulling 12-hour days, fueled by a whole lot of anxiety about when the next client would pay him. This right here, this sums up the freelancer's gamble perfectly. The upside is amazing. Total freedom, a shot at unlimited earnings, and skills that the market wants right now. But the downside is just as intense. An income that can be a roller coaster, the crushing weight of responsibility, and absolutely zero safety net. No paid sick days, no company matching your retirement fund, it's all on you.
So, after hearing these two completely different stories, you gotta ask, right? Which way is the right way? Is it the secured professional or the freewheeling entrepreneur? Well, the answer might not be what you're expecting.
You see, maybe the whole debate isn't really about Lila versus Ahmed. The real secret here is figuring out the one thing that they both need to keep succeeding. That powerful engine that drives you forward, no matter which road you decide to take. And that engine is continuous learning. It's just this simple, powerful idea. The ongoing, voluntary, and self-motivated drive to learn new things. Not because you have to for a performance review, but because you want to. This is the real secret sauce.
And this is where it all comes together.
Their paths, which seemed so opposite, are actually starting to blend. Lila, who's craving more creativity, is now thinking about freelance consulting on the side. And Ahmed, who wants more stability, is now paying for advanced courses to deepen his skills. See what's happening? They both realize that whether you're chasing security or freedom, the only way to get it and keep it is to keep growing.
So, the big takeaway here isn't to choose a side, to pick Team Lila or Team Ahmed. The real job, the thing that truly matters, is to build your own personal engine for learning. Because that engine is what's going to power you forward, whether you're on a straight, paved highway or blazing your own trail.
Layla and Ahmed both show us there's no single right answer. There's just your story and the choices that you make along the way. So the question to leave you with isn't which path you should take, but rather, what are you going to learn next to write your next chapter?